ready? Okay. Hello, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Mildred Stroline. I am the, if you want to call me the matriarch of this family, marvelous family, from the oldest to the youngest, and all of whom I am extremely proud. But right now I'm going to tell you about this vineyard and winery. About 70 years ago, and I remember because I'm well over 70 years ago, the men in the family were interested in finding some land with a house on it. They wanted to have it as a hunting lodge. So, by fortune or God's good grace, my mom saw a very small article in the New York Times, and it said if you would come to see this property that they were offering, they would pay your train fare, they would put you up at the Indian Princess Hotel in Stroudsburg, take you to the property, and give you a set of dishes. The dishes were Melmac, and they are still in existence because they're indestructible. So my mom came to see the property, and it included, on the stream side, it included everything you needed for a farm. That was a silo, a pig pen, a chicken coop, a humongous barn, and an outhouse. On the other side of the road was an old federal type farmhouse that had, as far as heating goes, only a belly stove in the kitchen. Everything was in fairly good condition, but it was an old house to start with, and it continued to be an old house until it was taken down by Stephen Stroline and rebuilt as the house that he has now. So my mom came, she looked at the property, and the gentleman said that the property included the house and all of the accoutrement, plus 86 acres of land, and the asking price was $2,800. Well, at that time, that was a lot of money, and it was a long ride to get here because none of the superhighways that we have connecting now were in existence then. My mom went home, spoke to my father about the property and my Uncle Dom and his wife, and they decided that indeed they were going to buy it and separate it, 40 acres for one and 40 acres for the other. My Uncle Dom's 40 acres was towards the hilltop. My father's were more toward the valley. My father's acreage included an old schoolhouse in which were the desks, the slate boards, and everything that a schoolhouse needed. Well, as time passed, the first thing that my mom told my dad was if he ever wanted her to come here, the first thing was indoor plumbing, which of course he took care of right away. But when the men all started to come here, where it was just a hunting place, they all had to sleep in the kitchen because that's where the stove was. And my Uncle Dom, who was a physician, was always welcome because if anything happened to the men during hunting, he was right there to sew stitches and mend breaks and whatever. And my father was even more welcome because he was a butcher, and his job was to butcher the kill immediately. And that's how this whole rapport between people from Brooklyn and people that were Pennsylvania Dutch to their toenails got along. And that feeling extended through all of their lifetimes. We were always available for them, and they were always available for us. It proved to be a marriage made in heaven. So, and over time, after my boys were old enough, we'd come up here and spend the entire summer here. That included us and reams of company we'd have company going down the road, coming up the road. And we didn't have a dishwasher, we didn't have a washing machine. We had myself, my mom, who was the cook extraordinaire, and my best friend in the whole world, Mary. Mary and I were friends from time immemorial. She's someone I miss greatly, but that's beside the point. So we would have, again, company coming, company going. It was all up my mother's alley because she loved to cook. She cooked, and then she played cards. Mary and I took care of everything else, which included every time company left and company came, beds had to be stripped, and we didn't have a washing machine. So we'd hide all of these, the bedding, sheets, pillowcases, blankets, down to the stream, which is in very close proximity to the house still, and wash them in the stream and lay them out on the grass to dry. And that occupied a great deal of time. We were always cleaning, making beds, stripping beds, and doing dishes. But it all turned out very well. The fact that we did that, our children came to absolutely love the place, and my oldest son decided that this was where he wanted to bring his family up, and that's exactly what he did. He took down the old house and built a beautiful house for his family to live in, which was in exactly the same spot as the old house. The doorway on the old house and the doorway on Stephen's house is in exactly and precisely the same place. My son, Stephen, actually, might be a little crude, but he buried my father's tooth in the foundation of his home. I don't know if that means anything. To Stephen, it meant a great deal. To me, it meant a great deal. But ever since all of that took place, we have been a very, very strong and dedicated family, dedicated not only to ourselves, but to other people. Stephen became a fine physician, and Dominic chose, after he completed doctoral studies, got his PhD, that he wanted to use the acreage after having it tested to grow a vineyard. It has been his life's work for the past 26 years. We have finally, he has finally gotten that. Well, it's a work in progress. You're never really finished with a vineyard. There's always work to do. It's a 12-month-a-year job, and for the most part, it's 10 hours a day. There's no downtime. But he's like a pig in poo. It's his thing. It's his thing. He doesn't object to doing anything that's involved with the vineyard. He's an extremely good vintner. His wines are top-notch. And it's still a work in progress. So I don't know how much longer the good Lord will give me, but for every minute of that time, I will not only help where I can, but I will bask in the sunshine of my family. Okay? Enough?
More than okay, Grandma.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.